Welcome to Tales from the Twilight Zone, where we delve into the chilling and mysterious. We're exploring the darkest corners of the human imagination, ghosts, and horror story. Tonight on Newsworthy, 2 words and 2 question marks.
It's alive! Have you checked the children? Get out!
You have scoured the podcast world and finally found us, Newsworthy with Steve and Jerry, where we delve into all things mysterious, macabre, or out of this world, and decide if they are truly newsworthy. 2 words and 2 question marks.
Hi, this is Ed Locke with USA Mortgage. When it comes to buying a home, the process can be overwhelming and confusing. With so many options, it can be hard to know where to start. That's why it's important to work with a certified mortgage loan originator. I have the knowledge and expertise to guide you through the process and find the best mortgage option for you. I will work with you every step of the way to ensure that you are getting the best deal possible. So if you're looking to purchase or refinance, please reach out to me at 502-680-0953. So don't take on the stress of buying a home alone. Work with me and I will make your dream a reality. Trust the professionals and make your home buying experience a positive one. MLS ID 448908, DAS Acquisition Company, LLC, doing business as USA Mortgage, MLS ID 227262. This is not a commitment to lend. Additional terms and conditions apply. USA Mortgage is equal housing opportunity.
Well, I'm glad.
Good old Ed Locke.
Ed Locke. I like old Ed. He's good people. Good people. I like working with them. Like
I used to.
shit. Yeah, Brett used him. Most of the people that go through me, a lot of the people that I use work with it.
Yeah, he's awesome to work with.
Yeah. He was, as a result of our podcast, picked up some good business the other day. So
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm really stoked about that.
Yeah.
How you guys doing tonight? I know
Doing
we're all a
great.
little
Awesome.
tired tonight. I think everybody is.
Yeah. You're about to go on vacation.
Yeah, I'm definitely in vacation mode.
Jerry's old.
Been old.
I'm just
I was
kidding.
old a long time ago and just got older. But you know what I figured out? Getting old sucks. But it sure as hell beats the alternative.
Oh, yeah?
No, just think about
That's
Yeah.
it. Beats the alternative.
It does. It does indeed. I hope I go to be very old.
Jerry, looking good. Look like you're losing a good amount of weight.
A little
Looking
bit.
healthy. You hitting the gym,
Little
getting some
Ozempic
muscle.
Mounjaro works
Yeah.
good.
Okay, I thought you were just
No.
rocking
Hit the
out.
gym.
Wish that was it, but thought about it the other day. But I rolled over on the couch and had another beer.
That ain't true.
That was as far as I got.
And it was probably an we were moving Jerry. Jerry bought a house we were moving him. He had beer that expired 3 years ago in his fridge.
No, it wasn't even in the fridge.
That
That was out of the pantry. For some stupid reason, I bought a 12-pack of Heineken because it was on sale. That's why I bought it.
Yeah.
Because I'm a sucker for sales. And got it home and looked at it and thought, I don't even freaking like Heineken. So put it over out of sight, out of mind, and it sat there for years.
I don't like Heineken either.
I hate Heineken.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
And the Heineken Light they got, that new Ultra Light, it's pretty good.
I'm not a fan.
Dos Equis. That's the beer.
Coors Light. If I'm doing a light beer, Coors Light, Yingling Light, or Miller Light. Those are the only ones I'll do. Actually,
Mick Ultra.
Mick Ultra is water.
I like Mick Ultra.
It's
You shut your
flavored
whore
water. It's
mouth.
beer flavored water. Is what it is.
I
a
like
water with
Mick Ultra, all right.
A drop of. I mean, a lot of people do. I don't like it.
Blue Moon. Do you like that one?
No.
Occasionally,
I
I
like
don't.
Blue Moon.
It's not my first choice.
No. it's
Dos
nasty.
Equis far and away is my number one
I
choice.
do like
for
Dos
beer.
Equis.
He likes the gold, though, not the green one.
Amber. That's what it's
Yeah.
called. Amber
Oh
lager.
yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Shut your whore mouth. That's my new favorite phrase, by the way. Just throwing it up there.
That and crotch fruit.
I just want to say, for the record, you guys are standing in the presence of greatness.
Really?
I survived 13 and a half grueling hours. My partner and I to become the Twilight Imperium 4
And have the trophy to prove.
Annual 8-player Alliance champion.
Annual. Oh, so you only do it once a year.
Yeah, because it's so hard to get everybody's schedules to
That's
back.
awesome. Yeah. It's a big deal.
So, little history was made. I just want to brag a minute. My partner, Jackson, who sometimes listens to the podcast, Jackson, thank you. It was his first victory, and I became the first player to have won 2 of these 8-player Alliance games. So, if you don't know what Twilight Imperium 4 is, it is a board game that can take between the quickest version I've ever played was 4 hours. And 13 and a half, 14 hours is it's not unheard of, but it's unlikely, but it's
What's normal, 6 to 8?
6 to 8 hours.
When I was playing, it was 6 to 8, and I was like, yeah, I don't have the patience for 6 to 8 hour games.
When I played, it's like, oh man, the game's already over.
Yeah, right.
That's what I felt. And I was like, oh dang, 8 hours is fast.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a fun game. If you've ever played it, then you know how important that announcement is. The Extra Kingdom and the Argent Flight were victorious. That was our team. So,
Which one were you?
Extra Kingdom, always.
I remember that one. What's the other one?
The Argent Flight, they came around after you stopped playing.
I don't remember.
It's one of the POK factions.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to take over the conversation, but I did want to mention that.
You're a better man than me. I don't remember the factions that I used. It's been too long. I couldn't tell you the names.
My 2 sons are coming over to play. You should come try to make time for that game.
When is it?
Well, it'll be well after vacation. Probably closer to January as things start ramping
That might
up.
be perfect. Yeah, after the holidays.
But it'll be fun.
That'll be awesome.
This man with his damn rappers. I'm gonna cut his fingers off.
What's he talking about?
Yeah, there might be something wrong with the mic. Or maybe your headphones.
Yeah, you think?
Probably. Do you know why you should never play poker in the jungle?
Why?
Too many cheetahs. Cheetah, pumpkin eater. Too many cheetahs in the jungle.
He's had 2 weeks.
1 week.
He's had a lifetime to come up with that
2
jokes.
weeks.
A lifetime.
I broke my glasses.
You did break
They're
your
going to be
glass.
very lopsided.
I just read an important fact that might apply to you, actually. Did
What's
you know that 90% of bald men still own a comb?
Really?
I do.
You just can't part with it.
I like that one. That's a good one. That's a good one. Can you beat that one?
What?
Can you beat that one?
Well, not really. Did you guys hear the story about the farmer who grew the enormous pickle?
Yes.
You did?
No. But go ahead. So you wanted me to say yes?
No, I was just going to let you know it was a pretty big deal.
Oh, yeah. I like deals. You don't, but...
I love deals.
Oh, I think we
don't
do.
like sweet.
Okay, that's it.
I don't like sweet pickles.
I like all of them.
I like all
Gherkins. Well, I made some good ones.
pickles. You did. Those
Those are very good.
Been the best homemade pickles I've ever had.
And I've done made them twice. I'm already down to none again. I made one batch that had habaneros in there.
You know, next year,
Friggin' love 'em.
you're going to have to make it and actually pickle them, seal them, can them.
I don't want to do.
Why?
That's too much work.
Here's the deal.
Good.
Cucumbers are in season for how long?
A long time.
A few months.
Mhm.
If you do what I'm talking about, you eat them all year long.
Well, that defeats the purpose of what I'm doing.
Do you grow them in the garden, or you just get
Yeah.
them?
How does it defeat the purpose of eating something that you love?
Because then it changes the recipe. Everything changes.
Why does it change the recipe?
Because the ones that I make are specifically cold packed pickles.
We should try it. Just do a small batch.
Okay.
We'll try it and see. I'll buy the supplies. If it doesn't work,
I've
it's
never
on
can
me.
before, but you basically just heat it up and like seal it, right?
Yeah, that's it.
That'd be the only thing.
But he's saying that, and I get what he's saying. He's making cold pack, which
means
is
it
not
crunch
intended
better.
to ever boil.
Yeah.
So it might change the flavor some. I don't know. But we could try it.
I think it'll lose the crunch, is what I think.
A little bit, guarantee you.
Yeah.
Plus, it sits in liquid for
it's gonna
months.
Yeah.
So it's not going to have the crunch of yours. Nothing is going to have the crunch of those that are just, freshly made. Those are good pickles.
They are
Those
good.
are awesome.
My biggest fear was that they would taste like cucumbers. I don't like cucumbers.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah.
They did.
You guys love pickles, but don't like cucumbers.
Absolutely.
Pickles taste nothing like cucumbers.
Nothing.
Nothing.
My
I tasted a cucumber one time. I was like, this is what a pickle comes from.
My son-in-law is the exact opposite of you guys.
Well, he's weird.
Loves cucumbers, hates pickles.
That's the
Will
weird-
not touch pickles.
I've never heard of anybody being like that.
Go ahead and tell.
If you're watching,
I'm pretty.
Chris, you're absolutely
you
weird.
you may need to go see.
And you need to learn how to fish. Every time we go fishing, I out fishing, like, hands down.
Really?
He's over
That's
there.
not the story I heard.
He sits over there and he's like, could you let me catch a fish? And I'm like, no, shut your whore mouth.
Have you ever known Jerry or Steve to exaggerate
Never.
at all?
Never.
He's never.
Apparently, my son-in-law lies to me because I hear quite a different story.
Sometimes I'll allow Chris to catch a fish or two.
Oh, okay.
But for the most part, they're little.
You have to give him confidence.
I do. We have to start
Just
small
like
and
your
work our way
fantasy
up.
league.
Yeah. This year I'm 0-6, and the reason for that is simply because if you win the championship every year, people will stop playing with you. You're just too good. So,
You're still, can't argue that too much. You're still tied for the most number of championships. 3 of us have 2.
Oh, yeah.
He's won twice, I've won twice, and Tom has won twice.
Well, I remember you all telling me that you had like an order that you kept
It is.
following. Yeah.
It was Steve, me, Tom,
and then it
Girl.
went backward.
Token Girl.
Oh, yeah.
First time was Nikki.
Yeah.
And then it's Steve, me, Tom, Token Girl, his daughter, last year. So, yeah, it's in that cycle. So, according to that,
It is-
he should win this year.
I'm not winning this year. All right, boys and girls, we have a great spooky show. We're going to try something here. You ready to try this? Let's see if this works. I don't know if this is going to work. We may have to turn.
We can try it and see.
Yeah, little background music. That's pretty spooky. I should turn the lights down in here. That would actually help us. I mean, look at that. I just wonder if you stare at somebody with gray hair long enough, if you actually start getting gray hair.
I got one like long white hair in my beard that I noticed.
You could do Santa this year. Your beard is pretty awesome.
I should dye. I should do that.
I'm at the point that mine's almost all white already, and I don't like it.
With Josh, he's the same way. Oh my gosh, he's so pepper.
Yeah, but that's on his head. I got like
Yeah.
4 on my hair. On my head. Poor boy. I love him. Actually, his hair is like the perfect blend. Like if I ever get
I think
salt
it looks
pepper,
awesome.
yeah, that's what I would want.
And I think dudes with gray hair, I think it still looks good. I think
Yeah.
it looks awesome.
Yeah. Well, we should probably change the subject. We don't want to make people jealous or hurt people's feelings who don't have this option.
I'm not gonna have this option. Don't worry.
You guys
I got another 5 years and I'm done.
You guys don't understand me in hair at all. I look at you guys with hair and I think, thank God I don't have to fool with that anymore. This is so easy.
Yeah.
I've went bald before, but I still had hair growing, so like I'd have to shave it every 2 days. That was a pain. It was a pain. I didn't like it. That was the only reason I stopped.
But if you had the right razor, it becomes not a pain.
Really?
Yeah. I'd tried a couple and they weren't the right tools. And my daughter bought one called the Revolution razor.
Yeah.
And I can sit here in the chair on the computer and in 2 minutes and be done and
And
not
it's like
even
that?
think about it.
It.
This is what I use.
Wow.
Yeah.
I might try that because I've been thinking about going bald. I want my beard to get down to here.
I couldn't do it. I have a big.
What? Yes, because you have thick hair.
I have
a big bald spot.
Well, no, I mean I have a big round head. I look like a lollipop.
Yeah, I don't really look that great bald.
To be an owl follow me around. How many likes? How many likes? If you don't know that commercial reference, I apologize.
You know what's? I don't know we got to get the show started. What's sad is my kids have no idea what a commercial is because they just stream everything.
Isn't that crazy?
You know what? They're quickly going to figure out what commercials are because everything is going back to commercials.
But
Everything.
but they're not geared towards kids like they were. Like when I was watching Nickelodeon or
No, I agree. I agree with
Disney
that.
Channel or whatever, all the commercials were geared towards kids. These are just like, oh, there's a car commercial. They don't have anything that's going to be like iconic, like the how many licks does it take to get to the center of it. Like,
That's how you not break your glasses back.
Jerk them off my
you
head.
just got those, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, and unfortunately, I have to get them fixed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Send that to me.
I will. I'll send you a link.
Really need to get one for Christmas.
Between his rappers and his computer moving, I don't know if he can make it.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Wow.
Audio sounds good to me.
No idea what the man's talking
I wonder
about.
if it'll catch that and say that's background noise.
Probably.
No, it won't. We're going to have an amazing episode, and somebody out there's going to be like, well, I wouldn't listen to it more, but that damn
That audio sounds terrible.
audio with his stupid rapper and computer moving. Who wants to listen to that garbage? Woo! All right. We're out of time. Look there.
Hey,
That ran out 5 minutes ago.
No, it didn't.
I'm guessing.
I thought it did actually. I thought we did pretty good.
Yeah, perfect.
I thought we were way over that.
No, we are not. We're streamlining, son. Streamlining. We got to get out of here at a particular time. We got other work to do tonight. Anywho, so tonight we're talking about horror movies. Horror, scary. Horror. Horror. God, that's a hard word to say.
Horror.
Why do I have such trouble saying some words? It's almost embarrassing.
I've never thought about it, but that is when I think about it, it's hard to say.
If you just say it,
horror,
it's not so bad.
Yeah.
Send it to her group chat.
Music tonight is by Peter Helen, just so you know. The background music.
We can use it for free.
What?
We can use it for free.
I don't know. That's why I'm giving him credit.
Oh, can I just say something real quick? I know we got
Sure.
So have you guys used the AI music generator?
No.
It is incredible. So we did it on the way home from Florida, and we just did it for the kids. And we were like, okay, what song do you want? They're like, oh, we want one about mermaids and unicorns. So I'll have to let you all listen to some of them. It is insane how good they are. AI is going to take over everything. I mean, it made it in like 30 seconds, and it sounds like it'd be on the radio. I mean, it's that good.
So it did it all. It wrote the song.
Wrote the song, had a singer.
Sung the song.
Yeah. Had music
Wrote
playing.
the music to it.
I mean, it's incredible. One was like a werewolf and a Frankenstein monster or something driving home from Kentucky. It's incredible, dude. It's incredible. I couldn't believe it. Anyways, all of that was you can use if you pay, which we thought about paying. It's like $50 for a year. You get like 500 songs a day. Or
What
something.
company is it?
Well, there's a bunch of different ones. The one we were going to go through was called Sumo. Yeah. But it's incredible. Anyways, if you pay, you can use it for like you get the license for the song or whatever. I was thinking we could mess around with that for this to pay for it. Anyways,
You were right earlier tonight. You were saying AI is going to take everyone's jobs. I can see it taking singers and music writers and
you just get that on your
composers.
phone. Imagine what they actually have. Like, I'm sure they got better stuff.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Amazing. So, Steve, why don't you lead us off? You never start.
I know there's a reason for that.
Why?
I usually haven't had enough wine to start.
Not true at all. You don't.
I mean,
You don't need to
there's
sip
a
a
lot
wine
of that
with
bottle left. I don't know if you're.
Well, alrighty. I can do that, Jerry. Let me just find my notes here. So I've got in this particular episode, we're going to just cover a bunch of short stories of what we know as true stories. Now, the person presented them as true. We'll try to give credit where credit is given. Most of these stories they come from other articles. So that is something that you need to just be aware of. Why is that link not link? Okay. Sorry about that, guys. So basically, we just want to just set the ground rules, if you will. Some of these stories were presented, and we're going to take them as, I guess, facts is not the proper way of putting that, right? But
we're going to take them as factual.
We're going to take them at their word. Okay, so there's a lot of these stories that we're going to cover. I am going to throw something and hit him. You have been banished from the candy jar, sir.
Hey, those are mine. I brought those. Fine. Next week, I'll have the bag in my pocket.
Mercy. But anyway, just wanted to...
That's a very enigmatic sound.
Isn't it, though?
I hate...
Totally agree.
You know what?
Take 10 minutes talking about that.
I'm not going to be here next week.
Oh.
After that, it's going to take a while to open.
That's fine. I'll sit here and wait. We'll just let the time tick.
I'm not sure you're going to outlast me. I don't have to get up in the morning.
You don't have to get up.
I can be here at 6 in the morning.
Okay. I mean, it's not going to be a very fun show for everyone. But I mean, that's all we have to do.
It's a long episode. I wonder what they talked about.
You just log on.
Candy wrapper.
And hear a freaking candy wrapper for an hour.
Too slow, Joe. Up high, down low. Too slow, Joe.
Good gravy. Some people are just placed on this planet to annoy other people. I can't see. You got freaking my glasses all steamed up. Dang it. Oh, man.
Sounds like my hotness is getting to him, doesn't it?
All right. So this collection of stories that I'm going to read for tonight comes from an article written in, let's see, what's the name of this magazine?
CandyWrapper.com.
Yeah. The article was written by Vitelli and, Dancute and Viela Lescoit.
That was awesome. You did a great job.
Dude, I have no idea. Anyway, this article was found in Board Panda. And it's you can go read these for yourself. It's 57 real horror stories. So, and there are a bunch. I'll just go in and out of a few of them that I found and picked out my best. The first one I want to cover is the Phantom Patient. The ambulance company that I used to work for had a haunted ambulance. Rig 12 recounts a Reddit user, Zerbo. A lot of EMTs had stories about it, but I never put much stock in the paranormal stuff. That is, until I had my own experience with Rig 12. My partner and I were working in a rural community at 3 a.m. It's pitch dark, completely quiet. We were both dozing. I was in the driver's seat, she was in the passenger seat. I woke up to a muffled voice that I thought my partner was talking. I told her, hey, I'm trying to sleep, and closed my eyes. I distinctly heard a male voice said, oh God, am I dying? Followed by a few seconds of really heavy breathing. My partner and I set up like a bolt and looked back into the patient compartment where it sounded like the voice had come from. Things were quiet for a couple of seconds. Then we heard the click of an oxygen bottle regulator and a hiss, as if it was leaking. We turned on the lights and we ran out of the rig. I thought a transient might have climbed into the back while we were asleep. So we opened the rear doors and no one was there. We checked the oxygen bottles, neither were open, and to say the least, we did not sleep anymore after that. Spooky, indeed. That was my story.
That's awesome.
I can't imagine. How could you ever go back to work? How could you ever get back in the vehicle?
Well, you have to, I guess.
I mean, I know, but how? Could you?
Well,
I think I just.
It'd be really tough. I ain't gonna lie.
I think I just.
I wonder if it's like, because sometimes I've heard of people having ghost experiences and they didn't feel like scared or threatened or anything like that.
I've got another one that make you feel exactly this way.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and cover it, and then we'll go with one of you guys. Come back a little later. It's called The Grandfather. My grandfather told me this story about how one time he was sitting in a chair on the front porch of the house. That's when he heard his wife repeatedly calling him from inside the house. The thing is, my grandma had passed away years before that. But he told me that the voice was so pressing that he actually got up to look inside the house. As soon as he got inside the front door, he heard a loud crash behind him. And he turned around to see that the chair he had been sitting in moments ago had been crushed by the cast iron gutter that fell on him. Had he not gotten up to come inside, he would have been seriously injured if not killed. I don't know if it's paranormal or not, but every time I think about that, it sends chills down my spine. How about that?
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's kind of a premonition or a warning even.
Yeah. Wow.
Crazy. Yeah.
I only have one story. It's a bit longer.
Yeah, please do.
But it has, I'm just saying it has an antidote that eerily similar to the last part of what you just said.
Okay.
You want to hear mine?
Yeah.
Mine is the story of the Lizzie Borden house. You may have heard of it. A few movies have been made out of it. On August 4th, 1892, Andrew and his wife, Abby Borden. Earlier, you was talking about using that song. You're still playing that song for background music. That's far better. We need to just, if we could like take that for maybe 35 seconds and loop it on all of it commercial. That is awesome background music.
Turnabout's fair play. Sorry, guys.
I'm trying to get you to continue. I like it.
No. Absolutely not. I'm trying to be professional.
Since when? We never try to be professional. Anyway, on August 4th, 1892, Andrew and his wife, Abby Borden, were found brutally murdered in their Fall River, Massachusetts home. Now, murder wasn't that uncommon in the late 1800s. Crime levels were very high. But the fact that they were bludgeoned to death with an axe. Bludgeoned. Not chopped. Bludgeoned to death with an axe.
So the backside of an axe.
And the main suspect was their 32-year-old daughter. Certainly was uncommon. The murders happened in the middle of the day. This house sat directly adjacent to a busy street. It's like you walk out of the steps, you got maybe 3 or 4 feet of yard, you're in the street.
Right.
No one reported hearing anything. In the middle of the day, on a busy weekday, even the live-in maid Maggie, who was in the 3rd floor of the home, heard nothing. Now, many believe that the reason for the murders involved money. Pretty common motive, right? They think that the money actually prompted hatred. Andrew Borden, the father, was one of the richest men in the city. Although in this case, he had forced his family to live very economically. They had no amenities in their home. Average home, wasn't run down, average home, but he had put in no amenities. He didn't have running water. Electricity was beginning to be common. Again, he's a banker. He's a president of the local bank. He's one of the richest men in town. None of that. Which drove Lizzie and her sister Emma quite mad. They were and had arguments with their father and their stepmother for many years. They couldn't see any reason that the family didn't live better. Although, keep in mind, she was a 32-year-old daughter still living at home. We think we have spoiled kids now. Apparently, it's not an entirely new concept.
Yeah.
Hell no. Sorry. just straight up.
Hell no. But, so Lizzie and Emma didn't get along with their stepmother at all. They never had. They were quite upset at their father for the circumstances that he forced them to live in. So after they were found murdered, she quickly became a suspect. She was arrested. After sitting in a jail cell for 10 months, the unexpected happened. The case went to trial, and despite the conflicting and ever-changing testimony of Lizzie and her sister, she was acquitted by a jury of 12 men. At that time, only men were on juries. She was acquitted by a jury of 12 men and set free. The jurors said the prosecution hadn't produced enough hard evidence. Now, the home was known to be haunted after the murders, and this decreased its value until 1996, when the home began operating as a bed and breakfast, and its unsavory history was actually marketed. Not a new concept either.
No.
People deciding, hey, if you can't beat them, join them, right? So if we can't beat it's a haunted house, it's got a dirty, sordid history, let's see what we can do to promote that. Much of the murder paraphernalia from the trial that had been kept was purchased and brought back into the home and is still there now. There's even a mannequin in the guest room where Abby Borden was killed. Autopsy photographs are on the dining room table. Even relics from media inspired by the murder case were put into the house, like photographs of actresses from the movie The Legend of Lizzie Borden. And over the years, the house has become known for ghost and poltergeist sightings. In fact, the Lizzie Borden house in Fall River was named the most haunted place in Massachusetts, according to the travel publication Thrillist. Perhaps the most unsettling, however, is the anecdote that I was referring to earlier, Steve, is the story of a tour guide at the Lizzie Borden house who asked her group to silence their cell phones before they started their tour. Moments later, one of the guests' cell phone rang. She looked at the phone, she looked up startled and said, "It's my mother." The tour guide said, "Do you want to leave the tour and take the call?" The woman said, "No, my mom's been dead for 2 years."
Holy buckets. Woo!
If you would like to stay at the home, it is still being operated as a bed and breakfast. You can go to lizzie-borden.com. Their most requested room is the John Morris Suite, which is the room where Abby Borden was found murdered. You can also take a 90-minute tour of the home if you're in the area and are so interested.
Dude, talking about weird stuff like that, if you listen to 2 episodes again of Encounter, which is our Monday night program, just want to throw out a quick plug for that. Definitely download those episodes. They're a lot of fun. They are directly interviews of people that have had an encounter. We talked with a group called the Spiritual Sleuths
Paranormal Sleuths. Yeah.
Spiritual Sleuth Paranormal.
Okay.
Yeah. Group. And that is started as a father-daughter. That was a good way for them to spend time together. And it kind of grew a little bit. And they're very technical. They're very, they want to understand the realities. I can't speak to the realities of the undead. But I was sitting down to interview the daughter, Olivia. And, I said, "Hey, can't wait to talk to your father, Brian, and see what's going on." But first, and she's like, "That's not my dad." And her dad was standing there talking to Jerry. He's like, "Yeah, that's not, my name's Danny." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "It's okay though, because that's a sign." And we're like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "My brother Brian died 2 months ago."
Wow.
Yeah.
And there was no other Brian around. It's
Nowhere.
Where did he get Brian?
So it was like, what? It was so weird. We cut it out.
Was like,
I cut it out of the interview, but made mention of it. I should have left the whole thing in. I didn't. I thought I didn't want to disrespect, the dead. But yeah, that was weird. And if he hadn't been standing there, I would have never. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unusual. It's not that unusual for me to misremember a name. But for Steve to misremember a name and for it to have the immediate impact is like,
yeah. 2 months
crap.
is recent.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still mourning
Yeah.
at that point.
It was weird. It was kind of like he thought that it was just his way of saying it's
A
okay.
sign. Absolutely a sign.
That I'm okay. You're good.
That
So
gave me chills a little bit.
Yeah, right. So tell us what you got, Brett.
All right, so I got it's not necessarily a story, more of a place. I've actually visited this place. It's called Greyfriars Kirkyard. It's a graveyard in Edinburgh, Scotland. This graveyard surrounds the Greyfriars Kirk in Edinburgh, Scotland. It is located at the southern edge of the Old Town, adjacent to George Heriot's School. Burials have been taking place since the late 16th century, and a number of notable Edinburgh residents are entered at Greyfriars. Haunting the cemetery is George Mackenzie, called the Mackenzie poltergeist, who is said to be one of the most aggressive and active paranormal figures around. Known during his life as a ruthless persecutor of the Scottish Covenanters, which was a Presbyterian movement in the 17th century, Mackenzie's spirit, according to legend, was released in 1999 when a homeless man looking for a spot to sleep broke into his final resting place, the Black Mausoleum. It was a fate predicted by famed Scottish poet Robert Louis Stevenson, who referenced Mackenzie in his 1879 book, Edinburgh Picturesque Notes, writing, "When a man's soul is certainly in hell, his body will scarce lie quiet in a tomb, however costly. Some time or other the door must open, and the reprobate come forth in the abhorred garments of the grave." Today, tour purveyors conducting nighttime excursions around the graveyard have reported some mysterious happenings. Many participants have emerged from inside the prison and mausoleum with bruises, burns, scratches, and even broken bones, attributed to long-dead prisoners and their violent oppressors. In 2006, the Scotsman wrote that there had been 450 documented attacks, 140 people who had collapsed, and even suspicion that the Mackenzie poltergeist was responsible for the death of one local site. So I went there. I visited during the day. But the tour guide that took us through said that during the nighttime tours, I guess she had also done nighttime tours. She said that she had witnessed people getting bite marks, scratches. I didn't really feel anything when I went through, but it seemed like there was definitely something there, especially with all the documented attacks. So
she said, sorry to interrupt. She said she had witnessed it. I mean, did it happen just like?
I guess the people showed her at during the tour.
She didn't see it suddenly appear in someone's arm or whatever.
It was a while back. So
now here in our town, Lawrenceburg, very similar thing has happened at the Anderson Hotel.
Yeah.
Now, last year about this time, we attempted to do an interview with the purveyor of that. Didn't go as well as expected, but the hotel's been featured on TV and podcasts before. So
yeah, and you can still visit this cemetery. They do nighttime tours every night, I'm pretty sure. Just another fun fact. So the whole reason we went to Edinburgh, Scotland, one, it's a really nice city. It's awesome. You should definitely go visit it. But it was also where J.K. Rowling first started writing Harry Potter, which was a big deal for us. And on one of the graves is the name Thomas Riddle, which, if you guys don't know, he's the main villain. Thomas Riddle is Voldemort. So I thought that was cool. But yeah, I think this is a really cool site. When we went, the people we stayed with at the Airbnb was like, "Don't go." So
thought it was too dangerous.
Yeah,
and they live there. They should know.
Yeah. So tell the folks why you really went on your honeymoon.
I don't want to hear where this is headed. I get by the look on his face.
I know.
They went to Ireland also.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they visited the island that... Oh. Didn't you visit the island where parts of Star Wars was filmed?
No, we didn't. We were close.
My bad.
So we almost did, but during that time, Star Wars had, this was 2018. Star Wars had just come out, basically. And I think the 7th or the 8th one was about to come out. It was extremely expensive to go to that. Extremely. The Airbnb we stayed at in Dublin, we actually talked to them about it, and they were talking about how it had gotten a lot more expensive after Star Wars filmed there. We still got to see some pretty sights over there. It's beautiful, but yeah, we didn't get to go.
Did you get to see the what is that place called where the hexagonal rocks are?
Oh,
that
yeah.
they said
Yeah,
that
yeah.
were
Giant's Causeway.
yeah.
We went there.
Anyway, that was made naturally with
We did
rock?
I think I talked
we
about it in
did.
an episode. Yeah.
I was just asking. You've been there. You've seen it.
Yeah, it's incredible. There's no way that was man-made. No way.
No ways, man.
Or not like naturally made.
Okay, that's what I was.
No, there's no way. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible, and I think I talked about the folk legend behind that. It's awesome.
So let's continue our journey down haunted places, shall we?
Let's.
So let's talk about the Whaley House hauntings. If there's no such thing as ghosts, then explain the supernatural incidences at San Diego's Whaley House, a destination dubbed America's most haunted house. I definitely have been present when people claim to hear things, smell things, and in some cases even see apparitions, says Victor Santana, the operations manager at the Whaley House and Museum. Widely known for its unexplained occurrences, the historical house was built in 1856 by Thomas Whaley, a former New Yorker who came out west during the gold rush. It's quite possible that Whaley got a sweet deal on the land, given it was once home to the San Diego Gallows, a place where countless criminals had been executed. And Jerry's looking at me because I got old school paper. It's all good.
I like it.
I'm just glad you didn't leave the paper at work. That happened once.
You know what? I left my charger at home, and I lost all my notes that I had. So
See? It goes both ways. Though he doesn't know exactly how many people died at the site, Santana says one prisoner in particular stands out. Yankee Jim Robinson was executed on site after he stole a boat. Says the Whaley House manager. Legend has it that Thomas Whaley was actually a witness to that execution. Whether it's true or not, Santana says that the Whaley reported haunted happenings in his home in the years that followed, citing heavy footsteps going up and down the stairs while he worked in his office. He would also sometimes hear a man grunting, if you will, and he would attribute that to Yankee Jim Robinson. After dying of natural causes, Whaley is said to have become a ghost himself at the house, some visitors claiming to smell cigars that he enjoyed smoking. Or you might even see him at the top of the staircase looking down on you. Other mysterious occurrences at the Whaley House include the unexplained scent of lavender in the air, attributed to Whaley's wife and her perfume, as well as possible ghost of the Whaley family pets. You might feel something brushing up against your leg, or even licking your leg in some cases, and they believe that's the family dog. I guess if they're all ghosts running around the house, why wouldn't the pets be there too? Has Santana actually ever seen an apparition there? And he is very much like Jerry. He says, I've never seen a ghost. However, I have had a couple of odd experiences, including seeing a doll that seemingly appeared to move on its own once, and occasionally he's heard a woman crying late at night. Santana was also present during a paranormal investigation at the site in which an EVP had picked up something utterly spine-chilling. You set up a recorder and you ask questions. That's the way EVPs work. Like, is anyone in the room with us? What's your name? So one of the questions was, are you happy that we are here with you tonight? And when they played back the recording, you hear somebody clearly and distinctly say, no. Pretty creepy house, although I've dealt with even creepier stuff personally in houses that are not nearly as famous, to be honest.
what do you guys think causes a spirit to become a ghost, or to be trapped in a house, or trapped in an object, or become a poltergeist?
I don't think poltergeist are ghosts.
Okay. So
I think those are definitely demonic.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I think there's a difference. I think that
You don't think ghosts can be demonic, evil, mean?
Here's the thing.
Then you would say, like, is a ghost a person's, like a human being's spirit, or is it some sort of demon that's? I feel like that would be different.
I think there's a couple ways of thinking about it. Either a ghost is someone who I could see someone very, and obviously we're not professionals in this, right? But in my opinion, if you were to be murdered or have a bad car accident and be taking, and I'm using air quotes, before your time in some sort of fashion, it would be very confusing, and I could see where that spirit might get attached to a place or a thing, or, you know what I'm saying? Whereas I really believe that some things are purely demonic. Poltergeist. That thing we saw, the video I showed you about the Japanese, and I refer to that every time we have this conversation. The Japanese office that, like, it shows all the CVT cameras. And, somebody can fake a drawer opening and closing, or a chair moving, or a computer coming on. But literally every door in the building slammed shut at the same time.
Yeah.
Every drawer in that particular room, it was a file cabinet room. All the doors came open and then just slammed shut at the same time. You can't fake that.
Yeah.
Not without a huge operation, and somebody's going to come out and say, "Hey, we did that. We got you."
Right.
So I think that poltergeists are something totally different. I think that they're evil. I think, and a lot of times when they try to hurt you, that's a demonic force. I don't think that anybody that was just maybe if they were just evil people in life, maybe they're just trying to. I don't know.
And there's obviously a difference between poltergeists and ghosts, because they're called poltergeists for a reason.
Right.
They're not just called ghosts because they are more likely to harm you. They cause a lot more fear.
Well, it's all about. I think the fear drives that. Yeah.
I don't know. It's a fun thing to think about, because I think we all can probably say that we believe ghosts are real. It's talked about in the Bible.
Except Jerry.
I mean, it's talked about in the Bible.
Right.
So, I guess you have to be going against Jesus at that point. But it's just interesting because I think the Catholic Church kind of provides some sort of explanation. It's a form of purgatory, like a form of cleansing before you go into heaven.
For ghosts?
Every single civilization since the beginning of man has some sort of story. For Catholics, it's purgatory. For the Egyptians, it was a long road to the where they weighed your heart against, was it the feather? I forget the exact terminology. But there was always a path that you had to take. The white light, the long road for Native Americans. So it's very easy, I guess, maybe to wander off that if you've been, you're traumatically injured or traumatically taken. I don't know.
To me, it's just interesting. It doesn't happen to everyone. You know
right.
what I mean? Like, it's funny how it's kind of random. It seems random to me.
I've heard somewhere, and I don't remember where from, that said that ghosts came from people who weren't ready to die, weren't ready to transition to the next afterlife, and were kind of hung up in the purgatory, the land they were caught in between. Who knows? The answer
we'll never know until we die, I guess.
None of us know. Yeah. We have no clue. By the way, it is considered by apparently experts that poltergeist is a type of ghost. It is a ghost, according to them, that can actually cause physical disturbances, which obviously gives you the potential to do harm.
A ghost would be like a spirit that is you can see, but
can't affect the reality.
But can't move objects or things like that.
According to this.
Yeah. I think I've heard that definition before, actually.
I think it's one of the most comforting things, too, and I'm not sure. One of the biggest reports of ghosts is also one of the things that I would tend to discredit the most. And that is stories of, well, my mom passed, but she stopped by and said goodbye. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes we manifest that to make ourselves feel better, as opposed to that actually happening. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I'm just saying that it seems
totally agree.
It seems like it would be a very comforting thing for us to be able to say that that happened. As in a good example, the guy that told us the story when we were in Logan about one of the most believable stories I've ever heard. His grandfather and this other guy owned, call him Joe for now because I can't remember his name. But the grandfather and Joe owned a lumber mill together. And Joe lived closer to the lumber mill. Grandfather lived a little farther away. Grandfather was walking down to the mill to start his day, and Joe walked past, or he was leaving the lumber mill going home, and Joe walked past him on his way back to the lumber mill. Grandfather says, "Hey, Joe, how you doing?" And Joe didn't say anything to him. Nothing. Just head down, walk into the lumber mill. Well, on his way back, he decided to stop at Joe's house just to ask Martha, Joe's wife, and again, I'm making her name up because I can't remember it.
Right.
And Martha's like, "What are you talking about, Grandpa? Joe's not at the lumber mill. He's in here. He just went to bed." And they walked in there, and Joe was dead. Those, to me, are the most believable. It's like,
Wow.
what the heck?
Wow.
Grandpa has no reason to make that story up.
Oh,
And,
gosh.
he was still warm, but he was out. He was done. He was toast. And, that sounds to me like something a ghost would do. You get so set in your routine for whatever that that's what you're going to go do. That was one of my favorite stories from up in Logan.
That's crazy. Well, I think I told you all about my grandfather in a previous episode where he kind of left some signs after he died. And then my grandmother died 6 months later. And as soon as that happened, the things stopped happening. A bunch of crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what I think. Jerry, what do you think? You've never had an experience.
No. When you were talking about someone recently passed and a loved one seeing something and how you can discount those, it reminded me of a couple things. One, have you ever had a dream that seemed so real?
Yeah.
I think everyone has.
Oh, yeah.
I had a nephew, Justin, that was in a bad car wreck and was in a coma for a few months. The brain isn't dead. The brain is still alive and working. So the brain is still passing the time to this day, and that was several years ago. There's many things that happened during that coma period that to Justin were as real as anything that's ever happened in his life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he talks about stuff, and his a result of the accident is he has basically no short-term memory. He can remember things back when he was a kid very well, even within a few weeks leading up to the accident. Since then, if you were to put a gun to his head and threaten to kill him, I don't think he could tell you what he had for breakfast. He has no short-term memory.
Is there a time where his memory kind of stops?
A few weeks before the wreck.
Right.
From then till now, it's just he might remember, it might not.
Yeah.
It's just, but so many things that we've heard him tell the story for years that he dreamed when he was in the coma, when he was unconscious, that he brings up over and over and over.
He remembers that.
He remembers those things, some of them.
Yeah.
But again, it's not a dream to him. That happened. That's his reality.
Yeah.
I think something similar can happen with people going through extreme grief shortly after the loss of someone. I think that could explain some of what you were saying.
What do you think that, and this is just purely personal, my grandfather and I were very close. And when I'm facing a tough decision or a questionable thing that I've done or thinking of doing, a lot of times I will feel his presence. I will smell Old Spice. As weird as that sounds, but my grandfather smelled like Old Spice. Old Spice, and I forget the name of it. It was a gold and black oil that people back then would put in their hair to
So
slick
you
their hair
smell
back.
it without him, like
Yes.
without having this, like something
Yeah.
that was.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And when I smell that, look, good goosebumps.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, that tells me that that's not the way to go. Or that is, I get a feeling of ease, and maybe that's just, something in my own mind trying to point me to the right direction. I don't know.
Have you guys heard of relics at all, like in the Catholic Church?
Well, I mean, obviously we've heard, but what do you mean in
So,
particular?
So we have like first class, second class, third class relics, and basically what it is like a first class relic would be a piece of like bone, or it'd basically be a piece of bone from a certain saint. All right. A second class relic would be maybe like a piece of cloth, or something that, like some object that they possess. A third class relic would be something that touched like first class relic. So we like believe that has some sort of significance, I guess. So like every altar at any Catholic church will have some sort of first class relic from a saint. I can't remember what our church's first class relic.
Surprised there's enough
I know.
relics to
It's
go
crazy,
around.
yeah. But
I mean, there's a lot of
right.
Catholic churches.
Well, there's also a lot of saints. But yeah, I know. But
I didn't-
they're very small slivers. It ain't like it's
Right. Huge
Uh,
object.
But that's just what it made me think of that, just because.
Have you guys ever heard of the, and I have no idea if I'm pronouncing this correctly, ideomotor response? IMR? The ideomotor effect is a psychological phenomenon that occurs when a person makes involuntary physical movements in response to a thought, idea, or expectation. It's believed to be what makes Ouija boards work. In other words, you think something, it's all. Do you know what the old-fashioned water divining sticks are? Just
Mhm.
the stick with the,
Yeah.
and you hold it, and you get close to water, and it supposedly turns down. You never heard of that?
No, never heard of this.
There's people that believe it so much. There's a lot of people that will hire a water diviner to come and tell them where water is. Like if you live out in the country and there's no city water and you have to dig a well, if you dig a well and there's no water there, you pay the guy to go dig another well and another one until you find water.
Yeah.
There's people who will pay these guys to come and hold their sticks and tell them where the water is.
They must be right enough to make it.
Right? Does it work? That's what.
And the
Sometimes.
only reason I say that is
Sometimes.
because there's a very similar thing, Jerry, when it comes to graveyards. Did you know that?
Meaning, I'm not sure where you're.
So there's a metal divining rod.
Oh, I didn't know this. I
Yes.
never heard of it.
And not only will it tell you which side, so you say you have a overgrown graveyard that you've
Okay.
discovered. And I'll explain to you why this is, I know this in just a second. But so it's overgrown. You don't know where the graves are. And you don't know at least sex of the people occupying the graves. These rods will not only give you the alignment, but will also give you the sex of the deceased. Isn't that crazy?
Now, is it the rod's doing it or the person holding the rod?
Well,
What
I
I'm
mean,
talking about with the water diviner, it's not the stick.
well,
You hand
it's-
it to the
right,
wrong person, he can't do scrap with
Right.
it.
It's the same thing. It's the
Same
same
idea.
concept. Because someone that and I won't mention names on there because I haven't asked to do so, but someone that we very in high esteem has used this before. It works. It's crazy.
I'd like to see it done.
So, uh,
I'm a skeptic
So would I.
on this.
I'm just saying.
I think everybody would be a skeptic of that until they saw some sign.
Now, Ouija boards, I'm not a skeptic.
But you've seen some sign, right?
Yeah, so when I was in high school,
That's right. I remember now.
did I tell you about this?
Yeah, you have.
I'll just tell the story. But then when I was in high school, a bunch of my friends got a Ouija board and they started messing with it around the weight room. And they got kind of freaked out. I can't remember what happened exactly. I think maybe the lights turned out or something like that. They got freaked out. They threw it away in the dumpster right beside the weight room. Well, like weeks had passed, and one of my buddies was weightlifting like just by himself, and the lights started flickering. And come to find out, the Ouija board was still there.
Dude, in our next week's episode, I have a story that's going to make your skin crawl about things like that.
Yeah.
And you may have one of these in your house right now.
Hopefully not.
How's that for a teaser, Jerry?
Pretty good one.
Speaking of, so ghost stories. Obviously, I'm going to go ahead and give my opinion. Double thumbs up. I want to hear all the ghost stories you got.
Yeah.
And if you have ghost stories, call us at
Area code 540-709-1318. Took a
Gosh,
minute. I hadn't checked that
you're
number in a
good.
while.
You need a raise.
yeah, or you can
Almost
send us
didn't
an
remember.
email at,
Newsworthy with StephenJerry@gmail.com.
and we will get you on the show and on our encounters program and listen to your story, because that's what that whole show's about.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. I enjoy doing it. It was supposed to start Encounters as just something I did Monday to, get some interviews and get some people's stories out there. It's now become a joint program because of software engineering problems. But it's a lot of fun. I really want to talk to you in Encounters. It's great. So for me, 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, I agree. 2 thumbs up.
I agree.
All right. Look at us go. Crazy.
What a great conversation. But we're not done yet. Stick around through these very important ads for an awesome bonus story. JT's Way is a Christ-centered, nonprofit organization with a call to help hurting families during the loss of a child. At JT's Way, they assist families grieving from the loss of a child through assistance with things like funeral expenses, emotional support, guidance through the grief process, and help in their healing journey. While paying for funeral expenses, they help navigate picking a funeral home, burial plot, or cremation services, and provide families with grief counseling resources. JT was 17 years old when he died unexpectedly in an automobile accident. He was a senior in high school and a student in the automotive class. JT loved cars and music, and he took his role of friend very seriously, and made sure to make friends wherever he went. Their mission at JT's Way is to minister to families by financially assisting and connecting them with their local resources. These resources will assist in the financial and emotional burden of burying a child. Their aim is to aid in the healing process for parents and families, and these resources include grief counseling and parent-sibling groups. The outside world doesn't stop, but we can tell you from experience that a parent's world certainly does. In a time of desperate hopelessness, JT's Way provides hope. If you want to help support JT's Way in their mission, please reach out to them at www.jtsway.com. JT would often say, "Let me challenge you to make a friend, be a friend, and most importantly, bring a friend to the loving arms of Jesus Christ."
Hi, this is Ed Locke with USA Mortgage. Buying your first home can be overwhelming, but here are 5 tips to make the process go smoother. Number 1, find a lender, me, Ed Locke, that can answer any questions you might have and help you get pre-approved. There are multiple options available based on your situation. Number 2, work with a real estate agent you can trust. Number 3, don't rush the process. Take your time and know that the process could take some time. Number 4, consider all the costs. Number 5, get a home inspection and review it with your realtor. Keep these tips in mind, budget for yourself, and you'll be that much closer to making your dream of homeownership a reality. So reach out to me at 502-680-0953. NMLS ID 448908, DAS Acquisition Company, LLC, doing business as USA Mortgage, NMLS ID 227262. This is not a commitment to lend. Additional terms and conditions apply. USA Mortgage is an equal housing opportunity.
If you would like to share suggestions for future episodes, or simply tell us how much you love or hate us, reach out to us via email at newsworthywithstephenjerry@gmail.com or text us at area code 540-709-1318. And now, back to the story.
In 1974, Carl Higdon was hunting in Medicine Bow National Forest, Wyoming. Taking aim and firing at an elk, something strange happened. His bullet seemed to move in slow motion. As he went to retrieve the bullet, a sudden strange feeling overcame him. Turning around, he saw a humanoid over 6 feet tall, which he described as having a black jumpsuit, a wide belt decorated with a 6-pointed star, and an emblem in yellow. It had straight hair standing out from its head, no eyebrows, bow legs, and long arms ending with rod-like appendages instead of hands. The being asked him if he was hungry and gave him 4 pills, telling him that if he ate one, he wouldn't be hungry for 4 days. The humanoid then pointed to him, and in an instant he found himself encased in a transparent device, and he was wearing a helmet. 2 more humanoids appeared, carrying the 5 elk Higdon had previously hunted, which were now stiff in an unnaturally frozen state. He was told he was going to go to their home planet, some 163 light years away, and subsequently arrived there in just a flash. On the planet, he said there were many buildings that resembled the Space Needle in Seattle, and the planet's sun was that and had an extremely intense heat. His next memory was being back in Medicine Bow Park, with 2.5 hours having elapsed. He staggered in a deranged state, unable to find his truck, eventually finding it 3 miles away. He radioed the sheriff, who found him at midnight, exhausted and frantic, shouting, "They took my elk!" After being taken to the local hospital and examined, they found all of his vitamin levels were miraculously high, and the tuberculosis marks he had on his lungs were vanished. Higdon's wife and 2 other people in the area saw green and red lights in the sky on the night of his abduction. And Jerry, if you can't see the light,
Be the light.